The Eagle Bearer, the exotic assault rifle that's behind a raid wall. Is it worth the effort for new players to get it? Or even to use it consistently if you already have it? I got the answer for that and more, so stick around, enjoy the ride that will get you to use this amazing weapon. Hello and welcome everybody, this is Balrog, and to be honest, I'm one of those that never tried the Eagle Bearer before. I always use my favorites, the FAMAS, the CTAR, the Fall, the Carbine 7, but this time I decided to give it a chance, and oh boy, was I missing out big time. If you're new to the channel or you have not done it, please subscribe. The majority of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed, so by doing so it will help me a lot to keep going and bring more content to you, so thank you. So in this video, I'm going to show you some quick facts about how to get the Eagle Bearer, how it works, and the first 2 builds you should do around this great AR that will cater to your game style. Because it doesn't matter if you have the biggest, the baddest OP weapon in the game. If it doesn't synergize with your build or your gear talents and go well with your game style, then it won't matter much. And by game style, I'm referring to gamers that play conservative, staying in cover most of the time, avoiding damage, playing from afar, or the ones that are, all guns blazing or in your face fights, or a combination of both. So let's jump right into it. First, some quick facts for new players that are planning to get the Eagle Bearer. You can only get it in the 8-man Dark Hours raid. You won't get it in the discovery mode. You need to defeat Razorback, that's the last boss on the raid, and open a chest to have a chance of dropping it. To open that chest, you need 5 keys that you get inside the raid in locations between bosses. The rest of the raid group can share the Eagle Bearer if they get it when they open their chest with their keys. It's not impossible to get. You need to farm your DPS gear to at least be able to run it. I have a video in the description below. That's the first build that you need to create when you're level 40. It's somewhat a DPS build that it will get you far and you will be able to run Dark Hours with it, so be sure to check it out. If you still don't have it, get involved in this great community. Find a clan that runs raids or join Discord groups that will help you and take new people to the raid. To name a few of the Discord group, you have GC Rock, Cowboy, Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, and Kamikaze Von Doom, among others. This exotic AR is somewhat identical to a high-end P416, but what makes it stronger is the Eagle Strike talent that will increase your accuracy while holding the trigger longer, so it gets pretty accurate at long range. Also, it has a whopping 60 bullet magazine size that beats other high-end assault rifles, so you can shoot longer and shoot accurate. When you get a headshot kill, you get the tenacity buff for 15 seconds. The strength of the buff, or the damage that is going to be delayed, is increased by 1% if you hit a body shot or 5% for a headshot. When the tenacity buff procs, you can reduce the delayed damage by 100% if you get to kill 3 enemies in those 15 seconds. So let me show you how that works in the range. First, let's pick an easy target, let's say veteran, for demonstration purposes. So when we zoom in to shoot, we see the weapon UI right next to the Eagle Bearer, showing us 40%. That's the damage delay by default. If we hit a body shot, we'll increase it by 1% and headshots by 5%, like I said before. That number will reset when you reload. So you want to get your headshot kill when you are at 80% or close to it. Remember, when you are firing and you get to 80% and still have some rounds left, it will stay in 80% until reload. So now you are 80% or close to it and you have your headshot kill. What's next? Your weapon UI will change and your character will glow red, meaning that you have procced the tenacity buff, and you will see the counter for the 15 seconds and like 3 orange sections, meaning the remaining 3 kills you need to do to have that 100% damage reduced. So 0 damage if you do that. So that's how we want to play with the Eagle Bearer. It's not always going to work your way. Maybe the enemies are far away from each other, or you can only manage to kill 2 instead of 3, but there will be situations that the enemies are cramped up or spawning back to back or really close, and this is where this assault rifle shines and you have to take advantage of it. So now you know where to get it and how to use it properly. So let's check out 2 builds that will cater to your game style and truly unleash the power of this AR. Probably the most hard-hitting of the builds, all red DPS build with perfect glass cannon, intended for those who like to play from afar and constantly in cover doing massive damage. For this build, I use the gunner specialization because it gives a lot of passive talents while killing multiple enemies without releasing the trigger, and that's what the Eagle Bear is all about, not releasing the trigger. So it gives bonus armors to you and the team, ammo, and rate of fire. And all the pieces that you want to get in this build will have critical hit damage as much as you can. A secondary weapon, you can use whatever you feel comfortable with, a rifle, a shotgun, an SMG, whatever you want. For the mask, we have the Coyote's mask that will give us a 10% critical hit chance and critical hit damage, because that's the medium distance that we are going to be shooting the enemies. The backpack is our only Grupo Sombra with the Vigilance as talent that will give us 25% weapon damage. The chest is the Sacrifice, the only Providence piece that will amplify damage by 30%, but damage taken is amplified by 60%, so you gotta be careful. If you don't like to play with the glass cannon or the perfect glass cannon, you can use a different one. For example, there's Obliterate or Unbreakable. Those options will be good as well. The holster is the only Fenris piece to get 10% assault rifle damage. The gloves are the Contractor's Glove for the damage to armor, and the Fox Sprayer knee pads for the damage to target out of cover, both rolled with critical hit damage. The skills on this build are the Reviver Hive in case we misuse the tenacity buff and we go down, and the Decoy to distract the enemies. So let me show you the stats that I get with this build. It's almost 50% critical hit chance. Remember that Coyote's Mask will give me the remaining 10% to get to the cap of 60% and more than 150% critical hit damage and 100% headshot damage. So for this build, you will try to proc tenacity from middle to long range and be able to take advantage of it when you can. But since it's from long range, you won't use its full potential, which led me to this other build, which you can get a little bit closer and will be easier to proc tenacity. But you will need a little more armor to go close to enemies and still have good DPS. Again, we use the gunner specialization for the same reason as build number 1, the good passive talent. The mask on this build we have is our first Providence piece. The backpack is the exotic memento that will help us stay alive with bonus armor and maintain good DPS when picking up the trophies. The chest piece is our second Providence piece with Intimidate as the talent, and that will amplify weapon damage by 35% to enemies within 10 meters. This talent is important for this build since we're trying to get close to enemies and pick up the memento trophies every time we kill enemies, and every time we kill enemies up close we proc the Intimidate, so we get more damage with the Intimidate, more damage with the memento, and bonus armor with the memento, so they both synergizes pretty well. The holster is the only Fenris piece to have the 10% AR damage. The gloves are the Contractor's Gloves, and knee pads are the Fox Sprayers with armor as main stat. So we get higher tier on our shield. But if you feel like you need more armor, or you get more damage, or you want to, have more survivability, you can have both the Fox Sprayer knee pads and the Contractor Glove with armor as main stat. That way you get an even bigger tier for the shield. The skills on this build are the Crusader Shield that has a tier 3 with 100% shield health, and the Decoy. The stats we get with this build are a 60% critical hit chance and more than 130 critical hit damage when fully optimized, and 1.1 million in armor, which allows us to receive more damage than the first build. But again, with the memento and the Intimidate, we need to do a lot of chain killing to survive and have more DPS. So with this build, you can be a little more up close with the enemies, trying to get the memento trophies, like I said before, and Intimidate buff will proc to do more damage. And when things get ugly, you can proc the tenacity buff to delay the damage, and be sure to kill your 3 enemies in the 15-minute window. You can play a mix of cover and up close if there's a lot of elites and big guys. Still, you will do a good amount of DPS with a good amount of survivability. And the more you keep picking up the trophies, the more you will sustain your armor and the offensive buffs. For the next video, I'll show you an Eagle Bear build with even more armor, so you can take more damage and be the majority of the time in the face of the enemies. So no shooting from long range or a mix like this past 2 builds I just explained. I just have to farm the pieces, that's all. So there you have it, agents. I hope I have shown you the power of this exotic AR and convinced you to use it, or at least try it. As always, my friends, thanks for watching, and click that like button if you enjoy or like the video, it was helpful, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. That will mean a lot to me and will keep me going and bring more content to you and try to keep this game alive. As always, be safe, take care, and see you on the next video. Ciao! And now to cut the grass.